Integrated is offered at the Regents and AP level. Students meet for a 3-period block and are taught by both an English teacher and a social studies teacher. Reading, writing, speaking, and thinking activities coordinate with the historical period from social studies.
I'd say that the global and English classes were pretty heavily integrated with each other. Since, for example, if we're learning about like the age of exploration when like Christopher Columbus and all them were sailing across the seas in English, we'll be reading a book like based off the time period or written in the time period of that. If we're learning World War I, we'll have a story about a soldier during World War I, and we'll get to learn a bit more about like how the people reacted and the culture during it, or what the setting was like from like each of the two classes.
Well, the time periods that we study in social studies are the same time periods that we learn in English, the same literature around that time.
I believe that this integrated program truly enriches the students' experiences and prepares them fully for the World History AP test that they will be taking at the end of the year. I remember at one point in social studies where we were learning about the French Revolution, and I can recall that in English during the same time we were reading a book from around that time period called
A Tale of Two Cities. Like, we were learning about the French Revolution, and then we read the book in English, which really helped kind of shape our view on it.
And it really like connected the social impacts of the French Revolution that we learned about in social studies.
Having guest speakers like come into the classroom just made everything seem so much more real, because when you're reading things like out of a textbook, it seems like it's so far away and it like didn't really happen. But seeing people like who had actually like been through these experiences, like it just made it seem so much more real.
What I learned from Birdie Radar, the World War II vet, is about endurance through tough times, and just it was pretty cool talking to somebody who experienced stuff like that, because you don't know how long you're going to be able to talk to a World War II vet from here on out.
I could truly say that he has taught me what strife and the plight that these soldiers had to put up with during terrible conditions, whether it be emotional, physical, or environmental.
It's not all war, it's life too.
Rosa Gonzalez taught us about how she left Cuba and her time in Cuba under Fidel Castro.
Rosa Gonzalez is actually my aunt, and she came in, so it was really interesting to like be able to share, you know, like she's literally living history. Be able to share like all these stories that I've heard ever since I was little from her and other members of the family, and it was like interesting to see how like other people like reacted to it and how like life really is in Cuba.
And it was interesting to hear a different account of somebody that was actually in Cuba instead of just a textbook teaching it to us.
I learned from Jen George how bad the conditions are in Africa and how we could help not only in Africa but also like around the world, and how like lucky we are to have an education and be able to have like food every day. Like, those kids suffer so much, and it made me realize how much we really do take for granted.
But like, we all just want to help now, and like we see what it's like to live there, and we saw all of her pictures and her videos, and it just like reached out to us, because like she's like almost our age, so like really helped us, because all other like speakers were like older stuff, and she like really like reached out to all of us.
At the Met, we just went around to the exhibits that we were learning about in class, and it just made everything connect so much more, because it's not the same if you're just talking about something than when you actually see it. It just made everything so much more real and so much more interesting.
I was able to improve my writing because with the two block periods, like we have the 3 altogether, and the conference period, and since they work together, the English teacher, Ms. Frasca, and the global teacher, Ms. Trongard, they're able to work with each other. So we can write an essay for Ms. Trongard, and then Ms. Frasca can help us, and Ms. Trongard, because they both majored in English also. And like, they could just tell you what you did wrong, and that conference period really helps because there's a lot of time to discuss your writing abilities.
All the writing boot camps that we do helped me improve my writing.
Integrated class is like a family because we spend basically a third of the day together, and we just learn together and we just speak together, and then you just kind of form bonds with people and friendships are made.
It's the teachers especially, like you just feel so personal with them, like you could talk to them about anything. They just make class so much more fun, and the people too. Like, I've become best friends with everyone in the class.
Before I came into integrated, I didn't really do as well on essays. I was really nervous about doing them all the time. But after we had these writing workshops where the whole class, she like guided you through it, and also during conference period, she would go through with you one-on-one, like what you needed to do to do to improve. So it was very like personal, and it made me feel so much more comfortable writing.
If there's one thing I'm gonna miss about Integrate, it's probably the conference time, because it kind of gives people the ability to work at their own pace and learn the curriculum on their own.
I'll miss kind of the family environment that we all have together. It's a lot better than just one period a day seeing your teacher. Like the 3 periods really helps to be able to like take some time out to study for the AP.
What I'll miss about Integrated is definitely those 3 periods and all the time it gives you and all the support that the teachers give you and that family environment. Everyone has your back. They're always supporting you and helping you with what you need.
I feel like I've been able to improve my writing a lot, especially right before the AP exam, because we actually have time to go over our writing and sit like one-on-one with Ms. Trongard and Ms. Frasca and just talk about like what we've done and like how we could improve and what we could improve on. It's a comfortable environment where learning is, you know, you don't feel uncomfortable and you could say whatever you want and like the questions that you have, like it's like a free zone.
From Integrated, the most I'm gonna miss is probably the creativity aspect, because there's not many classes where you get a chance to write a rap battle featuring France versus England based off a book, or getting to have a debate against your fellow classmates with someone being Karl Marx, father of communism, or Adam Smith, father of capitalism. There's just so much that you get to do in that class you don't really get to experience in the other classes that I'm really gonna miss, because you get a chance to express yourself more than just a basic English or basic world history class.
A lot of the stuff we learn in Global helps us understand the perspectives of people for the books we read in English, because then like if you know what's going on in the time period, then you know exactly what they're thinking about and what their intentions are.
We talk now about the college and career readiness. I think that seminar class made me college ready. And it allowed me to kind of grow as a writer, from going from a high school level writer to become a college level writer, and then take off from the college to the professional writing.
Like, I love having the 3 periods together. Everything's just so personal and fun. Like, just like I look forward to going Integrated all the time.
I'll miss everything. It's like such a different kind of experience than like every other class I've ever experienced before.
We just all felt like so close, and like we just like would joke around like a lot, and you know, it wasn't like, it didn't feel like it was like stressful and like work. Like it just seemed like it was like flow, okay, like, you know, because we were all like so close, and like the teachers were so awesome. So I'm gonna miss them too.
It can kind of target you to go to really hit that next step from the where you are to where you need to be.